All right. This Rick Wiles thing isn't very good. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? Talked about the handball players. Oh, we did that again, too. Wait, did we talk about... It's the same story.
The beach handball.
Oh, it was off Flip It. That's why I see.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about this story, Tom. This is an interesting one.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So we just got to read this aloud.
Yeah.
So let me bring this up here. This is from Gizmodo, Tom. So go ahead.
Pro-Trump group files motion against FDA to stop COVID-19 vaccinations in the U.S.
Okay, let's stop there for a second.
Yeah, let's stop forever.
Let's just stand there
just never wake up.
And think
Can we
about
do that?
Yeah. I just want to hold my breath until I pass out and then do that until I die. We're fucking not going to get vaccinations. Man, there's so much shit. I was telling Tom about this. I found out about this week. Some people were saying that the reason why that young, we're not talking about young kids, but certainly kids that are like, I said kids, but young adults, people that are in their 20s, certainly can get the vaccine if they wanted. Toyota, everybody, if you're interested. But they could get the vaccine if they wanted, but they are choosing not to, and they're choosing not to specifically because they think that it's going to make them infertile. And so they get a shot of this vaccine and they're worried that the long-term effects will make them infertile. And so that's what they're arguing. And so they're opting not to get vaccinated because they're afraid of being infertile. And Tom's response was...
If I could become infertile with getting a shot, I never would have gotten a fucking vasectomy. You
wouldn't have to come near me with a knife.
It's not that easy to make people infertile.
I know.
People go through like a whole thing. Like you get your fucking tubes tied or you get the fucking... vasectomy, like they gotta have a procedure. They don't just give you a shot in your arm. That would be the greatest shot. I would shoot my kids up with that shit right now.
I've told your kids down, and you're like, no, nobody's getting.
No, I've told all the kids like you're not having kids. Like you are. It's not happening. It all dies with you.
Do not have children.
Do not do it.
Do not have children.
Do not do it.
But anyway, so that's why that's what they're doing. That's why they're refused. That's why at least some are refusing the vaccine, is because they're worried about these long-term effects, because they're being lied to by everybody that this is fast-tracked, which it was, but that it's also they make it seem like that it wasn't tested.
Right. They confuse fast track with we didn't do any due diligence on it, right? We just, we figured this would work. Let's start sticking it in arms and see what happens. It's not at all what fucking happened. Nobody who opposes the vaccine can explain what vaccines are or what's in it or how they work or what the public health objectives of vaccines are. None of them.
Yeah. They're all talking about emergency use.
Right.
That's the big thing.
Right.
But today Biden said...
Within a couple of months?
Within a couple of months, he said by fall, he suspects it not to be emergency use. And that's when you're going to really see it. Because you can require vaccines in this country if they're passed through the FDA. You can require them for lots of things. So.
I hope major companies do it. I hope my company does.
Yeah.
I hope we would just require it.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah.
I hope your health insurance carrier says, look, you got to get the vaccine or we're dropping you from your health insurance. That's it. I'm not covering you if you don't get the vaccine.
You got to put something in it. Because there's these people out there that just, like, for instance, these people that are trying to stop people from getting vaccines. They're trying to actively stop people from preventing the next wave.
Yeah, they're trying to prevent it from even being available.
Yeah.
They said a bizarre fringe group that calls itself America's Frontline Doctors filed a motion in federal court on Monday against the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the parent agency of the FDA, to seek an injunction that would halt all vaccinations for COVID-19 in the country. And while the lawsuit is unlikely to succeed, it demonstrates just how desperate the death cult of former President Donald Trump has gotten. The motion, filed in the U.S. Northern District Court of Alabama, falsely claims the vaccines, which have been given emergency use authorization by the FDA, do not actually prevent the spread of COVID-19. The people behind America's Frontline Doctors also claim that emergency use authorizations should never have been granted because the coronavirus pandemic is not an emergency.
Jesus Christ.
Then they say, quote, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data shows that the vaccines are not effective in treating or preventing SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. And that's just one of many ludicrous assertions made in the lawsuit, which is filled with dozens of pages of conspiratorial nonsense and scientific illiteracy, including an unfounded claim that coronavirus vaccines have killed at least 45,000 people in the U.S. There are even bizarre tables that appear to have been ripped directly from the internet, warning that health measures taken to protect against COVID-19 infection are identical to communist brainwashing methods first identified in the 1950s. Seriously. And here's the chart.
Here's the chart. I'm going to zoom in if I can, guys, so you can see it better. So the chart starts with chart of coercion is on the left here, and the COVID-19 protocols, I guess, are on the right. Isolation, and they're talking about social distancing and isolation from loved ones, and so they're saying that's one of the ways that they're coercion. Monopolization of perception is another one. Induced debility and exhaustion, threats and intimidation, occasional indulgences. I love that.
Occasional indulgences.
I like.
You got a cheat day. That's basically a cheat day.
I'm going to read you what the cheat days are too. Allow reopening of some stores and services. Let restaurants reopen, but only at certain capacity. Increase more people allowed to gather. Follow concessions with tougher rules. I got to say, man, they're not doing any of that shit in Chicago. They're like
it's
full
just
on.
open.
It's just open.
Yeah.
It's just open, man.
Most of the country is fully and entirely open.
They make it seem like there's this weird mandate still going on. They're still living 6 months ago.
Yeah. Not all the country is, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am, we're fully open. LA County has a mask mandate for indoors. That's it. But that's not the same thing as not open.
Yeah.
It's fucking open, man. You can just go do a thing if you want a thing to do. What the fuck? What can't you do right now? It's all open.
I don't know. Occasional indulgences. Okay, so when I was a kid, I played a role-playing game called Marvel, and it was a Marvel role-playing game where you would create a little superhero and someone would tell a story, and then you'd roll your dice to fight other guys and whatever.
Okay.
And in the thing was this power. And it's pronounced omnipotence, but when we were kids, we pronounced it omnipotence.
I have the most the potences.
Omnipotence.
I am the most have the potences.
I remember that when I was a kid. There's another one too. What was that guy? There's a guy that Shia LaBeouf mispronounces.
God, this is for blessings on my family.
What did you do?
What did you do, Ian?
What?
What just happened?
What just happened? Why did
What do you mean?
There was a blessings on my family thing that just popped up for no reason.
Oh, did it? Oh, you know what? Somebody must have subscribed. Somebody must have. I don't know what they did.
No, nobody did anything. You don't have this automated in some way.
I love that Ian's like, yeah, I have this thing that alert's going to go off, and it's going to be in the middle of your show, but I literally have no idea what it does. Thanks, Ian. You're a font of knowledge as usual.
It's not active. I didn't even. Okay.
How do you mean it's not active? It just happened.
Literally
That's
just
active.
Happened. Literally just happened.
No.
Well, you don't know because you don't know what the buttons do any more than I do, you big faker.
I know what they do.
You big fucking faker.
He's such a liar.
Jesus Christ. Do you even own a computer?
He's
what are you
doing
kidding
this.
We must have got a new
He's
patron.
doing this all from his phone.
You have no idea if we got a new, but you didn't automate this against Patreon. You don't know how this works.
Literally got a new patron.
Hey, thank you, patron. Thank you,
Joel.
Thank
That's
you.
what that.
You patron, are demonstrating your omnipotence. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
All right.
Humiliation and degradation techniques, and then enforcing trivial demands. So
the thing is, like the enforcing trivial demands, family members must stand apart. Yeah, if they don't live together. Because viruses don't care if you're related.
It's so stupid.
What the fuck? What do you like? Masks at home, and even when having sex, I never once wore a mask in my home amongst my own family. Right. I didn't wear a mask having sex unless it was role play time. That's different. It's a Gremlins mask from Halloween or something.
I had to, but I was at a motel. And they were just like, no, you got to wear these. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things. I put my keys in a jug. It's one of those places where you drop your key and you don't know what's going to happen next.
I always look. I wear the mask.
It was
like
a mask in the sense that it was just a ball in my mouth. So it's a different kind of mask.
Really a mask? I don't know.
You can get a lot of slobber.
You can breathe around that ball.
Get a lot of slobber on those. It's very contagious.
If you want to get a lot of slobber, you can. All right.
And if you want a ball gag, you can go to adamandeve.com. So this is their crazy fucking
nonsense.
You know, it's so crazy because they really want to demonize all these, simple measures to try to slow things down.
Yeah.
And they want to demonize them as if they're just this awful, horrible thing that is going to strip your freedoms away, to make it seem like it's about your personal freedoms. And they're doing it across the board when it comes to COVID. So it's all these different little things that they're saying are infringing on your freedoms. But I don't think people are thinking, like, what's the big deal if I have to wear a mask? But I don't think people are thinking that. They're saying, no, it's an infringement.
Yeah, I just don't want to wear it.
I just don't want to wear it.
It's pure selfishness.
Yeah.
It really is. And there's also a super hyper nationalistic America centric approach to this. The whole world is doing the same shit.
I know.
It's not like just this. The CDC doesn't control the world. It just controls or gives health recommendations for America.
Right.
But the health recommendations are the same in Japan and in Thailand and in fucking Australia and in the UK. Imagine that. It's the same because that's what science says.
I know.
Science doesn't care what language you speak.
But it's crazy, though, because I guess some of our dumbness is leaking over because different places across the world had those people marching against masks in different places. I know it wasn't as popular as it was here.
Right.
But in other countries, they had these people that were out saying, "Oh, I don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Oh, I want the freedom to infect you with some shit."
No, I don't care if you get sick and die because I have the right to get sick and die. Yeah. Go back real quick to that article if you don't mind, because I want to read who these doctors were, because it's fucking incredible. It's literally incredible that who these actual doctors are.
By the way, I want to point out one of the ladies we recognize here. This is the demon lady.
Oh,
this is the demon sperm lady.
Yeah.
She's the... Okay.
All right. So the group behind the lawsuit, America's Frontline Doctors, first made a name for themselves in July of 2020 when President Donald Trump was pushing hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19. The drug doesn't help treat coronavirus, and Trump never received the drug when he was treated for COVID-19. Trump did, however, get vaccinated in secret. Doctors also associate with some of the weirdest medical professors you'll ever come across in the 21st century. As one example, Dr. Stella Emanuel, a Texas doctor who spoke at the press conference, insisted that cysts were caused by people having sex with demons and witches.
Yeah.
Dr. Simone Gold, a doctor and lawyer in Los Angeles, founded the group and previously appeared on Fox News when Donald Trump was president. Gold also has connections to the Tea Party Patriots Foundation, was at the January 6th riot in Washington when Trump supporters stormed the Capitol in an attempt to stop the certification of 2020's election results. Gold even made a speech a day earlier calling the COVID-19 vaccine an experimental biological agent deceptively named a vaccine.
Jesus Christ.
These are not credible people.
No. But
They're going to file a lawsuit.
But the problem is that lawsuit will get fucking play on the right-wing side, and they'll talk about it and be like, yeah, these people are out there fighting the good fight.
Well, and they'll say they're doctors. There is a group of prominent, what they'll say is they're prominent doctors.
They care about the doctor title only when it suits them. Right? And the other thing, too, I don't know, did you see Fauci this week yell at Rand Paul?
Rand Paul, yeah.
He basically said, he's like, if anybody's being dishonest here, it's you.
Yep.
He calls him out and says he's being dishonest. He's like, I fucking resent that you're saying that we funded the creation of COVID.
Right.
That's essentially what Rand Paul is doing in this hearing. He's grilling Fauci and saying, you guys funded this research. And Fauci says basically, no, that's not the case. And then and he even says basically, like, you don't know what you're talking. You literally don't
know
even says out
what
loud.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
you don't understand the technology you're referring to.
Yeah, you don't understand what you're talking about. And then, but the thing is that Rand Paul talks over him enough to squelch him out, and Fauci just doesn't. He's not as forceful enough.
Right.
So what the right wing talking point is made. They're going to show that, and they're going to show that Fauci. He owned Fauci. And then the other side, of course, is going to show that Fauci owned him. But I mean, if you listen to it and you have half a brain, you'd realize that Rand Paul doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He doesn't. And he's not a credible expert at all. But it gives this constant argumentation gives the illusion to people that there is two sides to the story, that there is argument, that there's a debate that's worth having.
Sure.
But there's no debate.
Yeah.
There's no debate among any of the experts on the fucking world is on fire right now. There hasn't been a debate on climate change in 20 years. Not a meaningful, substantive debate on climate change in almost 20. And we are on fire. Yeah. Like the ground temperatures rather in Siberia are like 100 degrees or some crazy shit. You know, we're looking at record-breaking temperatures across like huge parts of the world. There's flooding in Germany that's killed dozens of people.
I know. I saw you see that flooding over there.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
And there, there was an article in the Times that said like there is no return to normal. We're not going back. This is now what the new world looks like, and it looks really bad.
Yeah.
And it's the fault of not getting on top of this for the past 20, 30,
we had every
years.
opportunity to get on top of it. And
but we're pretending there's a debate.
The reason why is because and it's even true with COVID, is that we're so good at putting things off. We're so good at procrastinating. We're so good at saying, it's fine now, I don't have to do anything.
Right.
I'm comfortable right here. And any kind of change is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we're so comfortable with that. And look at what's even COVID's a perfect example. Like, I don't want any change. And look at how painful just that little tiny shutdown we had in the States was. Look at how painful that was. Look at those people marching and freaking out and all that pushback that came specifically from that shutdown.
Yeah, rather than having this be, we had like this like golden moment where we could have had if we had a unifying message and we had a unifying president, we had a golden moment where we could have rallied around this moment in time, this cultural moment.
Sure.
And we could have all come together. Like, there was a moment as horrifying as almost everything that followed it was. After 9/11, which is a terrible event, but after 9/11, there was a lot of national cohesion. And we used it for really awful shit, right? We used that national cohesion, just to be clear, to create the Patriot Act, spy on our own citizens, invade two countries on unlawful pretenses, kill hundreds of thousands of people. All that was terrible.
Create an offshore prison that stored people for decades.
Right.
Yeah.
Horrible. We did all the wrong things with our national cohesion. But I just want to point out that national cohesion was possible.
Yeah.
And we had a moment where national cohesion would have been possible.
Yeah.
And instead we created this.
Yeah.
It makes me nuts, man.
And what we created was a way for people to lie, right? You look at George Bush going to war. We created a way for him to lie to us and be cool with it.
Yeah.
And then it just like amplified the moment Trump got in, where now it's just like, I'll just fucking openly
say untrue things.
And it doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now we have members of Congress on the right. They can't decide whether they want to do vaccine talk. And there are some on the right that are saying we need vaccines.
Even Mitch McConnell came out.
And then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene getting fucking taken off Twitter because she's an insane person saying, no, you don't need vaccines and vaccines are awful and they're evil or whatever. And she's getting fucking removed from fucking Twitter because of it. Only for a few days, but still.
Yeah. There's no cohesion in that caucus at all on the right. And maybe that will be a good thing because, like, I do wonder about turnout at the midterms. We need the grown-ups to be in charge. This isn't about gamesmanship.
Right.
This is about there is reality, and then there's the right-wing world.
Yeah. No, it's 100% true.
They're not living in a testable reality.
It's 100% true.